Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And today we have 3 more great news stories waiting for us. And the first of them is, found out I had another job and did a perfect work week. Also could not resign. So this was 5 years ago. I got a message from a bank that I had a large sum of money waiting for me and that I needed to provide my employer with the correct bank account so they could transfer it. Great, right? Sadly, my company had no clue what I was talking about when I asked them. I called the bank and they tell me it's from another company. I actually was on an interview at the company but turned down their offer. So I called the company. Me. I get a weekly salary from you. The problem is I don't work here and you need to reclaim the money. Receptionist. When did you quit your job? I can't find your resignation letter. Me. Never. I've never worked for you. R. But you work here. I can't take the salary back. Our salary's correct. You have a perfect score. You did 40 hours a week last month. Me. Great. I also did the same at my company. So I'm a busy person then. Seriously, I don't work here. Some lazy manager must be sending you perfect scores since there's nothing else to report. R. Do you want to leave your 1-month notice? Me. No, please just remove me. I don't work for you. R. A little frustrated. I can't. You need to fill out a resignation letter, give it to your manager, and work your last month. Otherwise, you could get fined for not following the contract. Me. I absolutely refuse. But I want you to find the paperwork I signed when I started my employment and read it out loud to me. No, I can't find it. It's not here. When did you sign it? I didn't. I don't get it. You don't work here and did not sign anything? I'll call you back. Couple hours later, she calls me back, ranting about how it's a criminal act to keep the money and that I need to return it at once. Well, I tried. I don't work here, and now your emails don't either. I don't know what it is with the technologically challenged, entitled douche muffins knowing exactly who's working in IT, but they do. It's like their spidey sense. About 6 hours ago, I was off work and went on a mall date with the boyfriend. After a full shift of dealing with the incompetence, the last thing I wanted to do was more tech support. But my boyfriend wanted to go phone shopping and needs my opinion. Fine. Comes with the territory. We went to a certain blue store. Minding our own business, looking at specs, some older gentleman, henceforth known as Douche Muffin, cleared their throat loudly behind me. Figuring I was blocking him, I moved aside so he could look at whatever it was I was in the way of. He cleared his throat again, even louder. Oh boy. DM. Excuse me, I need help. I turned my head to greet the unpleasant flesh sack standing before me. Yeah? I need you to fix this effing phone. He cuts me off. Now don't give me that crap. This is important, okay? I need it fixed now. I don't have time to wait. You know how to fix it, so do your job. Or do I need to ask for a effing manager to fix my effing phone? He practically shoved his phone into my face. Sure, I'll do my job. I turn on my customer service voice. I'm so sorry for your inconvenience. Let me take a look at that for you right now. To my boyfriend. Would you mind holding on for just 1 minute, please, sir? Thank you so much for your patience. My boyfriend looks at me in horror. Dude, no. Me. Just 1 minute, please. Back to DM. So, what seems to be happening with your iPhone? I can't send emails. This is just unacceptable. I can get them, but I need to send a very important email. Now, can't you just fix it? No problem. Would you mind if I took a look at your phone? Here, do your effing job. It's not hard. He somehow thought it was a good idea to hand a complete stranger wearing a sweater and winter coat, neither of which has that very specific blue color, his $900 iPhone. Like, no questions asked. Okay, so open up the mail app, compose new email, type in test@gmail.com. That bogus email isn't going to bother anyone. Mailer Demon bounce back came in immediately, as expected. The phone worked perfectly fine. I was hoping for an error to pop up and bullcrap him to go bother the Apple store, but then, see, it's not working. You need to make it work. Can you make it effing work? I can't have bounced emails. They're very important. You don't want bounce backs? I'll make sure you have no bounce backs. Oh, a bounce back. No worries at all, I tell him. I know exactly how to make sure you don't get bounce backs anymore. Well, get to it. Chop, chop. Or in your case, maybe chopsticks. DM smugly laughs to himself in that voice where it sounds like you're exasperated with dealing with someone beneath you. Yeah, thanks for the racism though, DM. Me. Settings, accounts and password, mail account. Oh, POP3, cool. Go into advanced, change port from 995 to 587 and kept SSL on. Go into outgoing server, change port from 465 to 143 and kept SSL on. Changed password authentication from normal password to random option. Save, verification failed. Wonder why. Might have something to do with using the incoming settings for the outgoing server and the outgoing settings for the incoming server and flip the password auth settings. Hand the phone back to him. All done now. I grab my boyfriend and walk away. Hey, wait! I'm getting more errors! You need to fix this! Me, holding in laughter. Well, you won't get any bounce backs now. I've fixed it. I want to speak with your manager! You're gonna get fired! Somehow, screaming that does attract a store employee who comes running over. We'll call the poor girl Blue. What's going on? Can I help? I want you to get his manager. He broke my phone. Sir, this person doesn't work here. Well, of course he does. He just messed up my emails. I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the manager. Sir, I can help you reset the email. This person doesn't work here, so he doesn't know what he's doing, but I assure you I can fix this. I felt kind of bad for Blue, so, do you know server port numbers? What's that? Incoming and outgoing server ports. I just switched it around, so you'll need to reset that. Reset the mail account? Yes, I can do that. Oh, crap. No, don't take the account off. You need to... You know what? I trust her more than I trust you. Go ahead and reset the email account, and we can start from scratch. At this point, I grabbed my boyfriend, and we left before they could figure out the major oopsies in about 5 minutes. If you don't know what POP3 does, it downloads and removes the email from the server. If you remove a POP3 account and you have no backups, you're basically nuking your emails out of existence. So if you're Blue and you're reading this, I'm very sorry. Most people would just pick up their phone and throw it on the floor before repeating that I don't work there, but this is much more creative. But the owner invited us. So this actually happened a few years ago. My daughter reminded me about it recently. I have friends that we'll call J and D. J and D are old school country folk with old-fashioned down-home values. They're not poor, but save money and are frugal, but not cheap. So J and D were heading home on a lonely bit of highway in the middle of nowhere when they see a car on the side of the road and offer to stop for assistance. Jay is a bit of a shade tree mechanic and takes a look at the car and sees that it had a cracked radiator hose and it overheated. While patching it up, they start yakking about this and that. JD were celebrating their 25th anniversary in a few days and were excited about going into town and eating at their favorite restaurant, a certain colored lobster. Their new friend explains that he was in town to check on a restaurant he owned and would love to host their anniversary dinner as a thank you. J&D try to decline, but the guy isn't having it. He asks them to meet him tomorrow night at the restaurant at 6 p.m. and gives him his card. J&D go home and tell the story to their daughter, who looks at the card and realizes the guy was a famous actor who co-owned a very expensive restaurant downtown. J&D don't want to take advantage and were tempted to not go when their daughter threatened them with anything and everything if she could. J&D dress up in their country folk finest and hop in their truck. Now their truck purrs like a kitten, but it had been around. It was at least 10 years old and had been used as a truck should, but was kept clean. They pull up in front of Fancy Schmancy and a valet comes to open the truck door, hands them a ticket, and everything seems fine. They walk into the restaurant, and this is where things get interesting. They walk up to the host stand, and the host tells them that they only accept applications on certain days, and they were currently fully staffed. J&D are confused and explain to the host they were here for dinner. The host makes a point to look them up and down, and then asks if they realize dinner is minimum $100 per person. Jay pulls out the card and hands it to the host, attempting to explain that he was invited by the owner. The host laughs and says something like, "I don't know how you got this, but you are not welcome here and need to leave before I call the police." Well, J&D didn't want to cause a scene and decide to go. While they're waiting at the valet, the owner shows up and asks if they enjoyed dinner and apologized for running late. J&D don't want to get anyone in trouble and tried to mumble some excuse, but the owner realized this wasn't the same bubbly, friendly couple from last night and knows something's up. He calls bullcrap and escorts them in for dinner. The host looks shocked to see them back, but doesn't say anything in front of the owner, who personally seats them before disappearing. J&D ordered drinks, but they felt so out of place they just really wanted to leave. So the owner returns and asks the couple what happened. Not wanting to get anyone in trouble, they try to explain it was a simple misunderstanding, but he'd already gone to review the CCTV. Turns out one of the valets had seen their truck and had come in to warn the host because everyone knew the owner was due in and had been told to make the best possible impression. The owner asked for the valet and the host. He asked them both about the incident and warned them. He'd already watched the tapes. Amid a hail of excuses and apologies, the owner asked if they would treat his parents that way. Never called them his parents, but kinda implies it. J&D are shocked, but play along with their precious little boy going over the top and having a blast. Dinner saved, and J&D end up having the time of their lives, fawned over by the staff and acting out with their son. The owner ends up becoming fast friends with J&D and invites them to dinner whenever he's in town. They were finally able to return the favor and had him over for dinner, which almost gave their daughter a heart attack. As for the valet and host, neither were fired, J&D insisted, but the owner made the entire restaurant undergo retraining and warned he'd better never have similar complaints from other relatives in the area, leaving them to always treat customers like family. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.